This is Match Me If You Can.
Match me if you
Match
can.
Me If You Can.
This is Match Me If You Can.
Match Shut up, guys! I'm trying to record.
My days as a sizzle reel VO artist.
Your mom.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, get ready for an action-packed episode with none other than Ellie Gordon.
Woo woo!
Yay!
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Hey listeners, ever wonder what it would be like to blow up your comfort zone at the tender age of 50? Well, we did just that. When our last kid went off to college, we hit the road in search of a new hometown. Now we bounce from city to city and bring you along for the ride. This is the Skip Town All-Stars podcast.
Welcome back, All-Stars. We are so excited to bring you this episode, not just because, hey, it's another week and another batch of things to talk about, but this time around, we are excited. We have a very special guest. She is our youngest daughter, Ellie Gordon.
We are so happy to have you here. Ellie goes to Seattle University.
If you remember way back at the beginning of our journey, she was the one who had the house sold out from under her and was dropped off to college and was rather not happy that she didn't have a home to come back to. So.
Well, when you put it like that.
Anyway, Ellie Gordon's here with us today.
Hello. I'm happy to be back in a much better mood.
Okay.
That's good. It's really nice you're in a better mood from like 8 months ago.
Yeah.
So I thought it would be a good idea while Ellie's here for spring break to just kind of go over our travels, like how she's been feeling about us being on the road and how, you know, we are parenting from afar, how her college experience has been, how she feels since she's left LA and we sold the house. And, you know, we're going to hit the road again. So very, very soon. So we thought it'd just be the perfect time to kind of like do a little like, hey, let's chit chat about like, how you feeling?
Oh, sounds like the gloves are off. That sounds like a really open forum for you to just like air your grievances.
Will do.
So okay, first of all, let's talk about, you're a Division I volleyball athlete. What is that like? Because you're the only one in our family who has pursued that in college. And what is that like? I mean, honestly, what did you expect it to be and what did it turn into?
Okay. So I expected it to be as demanding as it was. I don't think I was initially prepared for like the mental challenging part of it.
Yeah.
It's definitely like a lot more mentally challenging than I think I thought it would be. Cause at first it was definitely like my whole goal with playing volleyball was just like get better and get recruited and find a college to play at. So once I did that, I hadn't really like dealt with the same mental battle that you would once you're already signed and playing. Yeah. So that was definitely a struggle.
What was the mental battle? Like, what is that?
Well, like my team, for instance, we had like a travel team. And so we had a roster of 19, but only 13 of us would travel. And so like that was definitely really hard because, you know, the whole team is friends and we're, you know, we all live next to each other. We're all rooming with each other, but it's also like like that girl's your competition and it's really hard because she's your friend and you love her and you want to be happy for her. But when she's playing over you, like it makes it really hard to like be happy, you know? So that was definitely something challenging. It was challenging, but I feel like it was necessary because now like that I'm in off season and I'm going back into spring season, actually, as soon as I get back from spring break, I kind of know how to like differentiate the volleyball feelings versus like my actual life, where before I felt like it was always intertwined during season, you know, like we were always around each other, always talking about volleyball, always like running lineups in our heads, like all these different things. It's just like constantly thinking about it to where it's like it's your whole life. And so like when you do bad in practice, you have a bad day. Like it
travels over to the dorm, so you can't
exactly
walk away from it because then you're seeing that girl that you had a bad day with on that practice.
Yeah. So definitely first quarter, it was the hardest schedule because my volleyball was a fall sport. So we came in, like we moved into Seattle really early. We came in 2 months before school actually started, and that was like our preseason. So that schedule was hard because for the first 2 weeks, we did 2 3-hour practices a day. They're called double days. And we'd have like a weightlifting session in that.
What time does this day start?
It depends. Sometimes it could start at like weights at 7
a.m.
And
Nice.
then practice from like
Wait,
8.
Let's go back. What time do you get up then?
Okay. If I have weights at 7, that means you have to be in the weight room 5 minutes before. So that's at 6:55. But we have a team rule where like we have to be in the locker room 20 minutes before. So that means I have to be there at 7:40, but I want to eat 6:40. But I want to eat something before, but not too soon because I'll throw up. So then I wake up at 6 and I get ready, I eat breakfast, I try to wake up, you know,
You're
all
a
this
college
stuff.
kid waking up at 6 a.m.
Yes. And
Okay.
yeah. And so then I would do that. I'd have my first practice probably from like 8 to 11, but you get out of there around like 11:30, 12-ish. We'd all go get lunch, sleep, go back at 3:30, work from 4 to 7, and then get dinner and go to bed. And so that was preseason. And then
Would you really go to bed at 7 though? I mean, come on.
no.
You guys are
Oh
all
my
so
God.
young.
No, I know. And like the
Yeah, but you had
stress
to be
of
up
it.
at 6 a.m.
I know.
So what time would you actually go to bed?
I would try to go to bed early, but there was so much adrenaline running through
Oh,
you.
of
Like I was
course.
like, oh my God, I'm so pumped for tomorrow. I can't go to bed.
So this is preseason. We
Yeah.
haven't even gotten into season
Yeah.
yet. This is 2 months of this schedule
Yes.
with no one at the college.
Yeah, with no one there. It was quite lonely for the
Aw.
first couple
Did
weeks.
you guys get sick of seeing each other in that time
Yes.
span?
Yes. I mean, yeah, for sure. We were all living next to each other. But again, it was just like, that was one thing that I was like, we genuinely like had no control over that. So it was easy to spiral. But during season, the schedule is a little different because we'd be traveling. So when we'd be traveling, we would, have.
Hold on. Traveling. I don't know if everyone understands. You actually got on a plane. It wasn't
Yes.
just on a bus and went to different cities around Washington. What was the furthest place you traveled to? Was it Texas?
I think it-
Kentucky.
Oh yeah, it was Kentucky. Yeah, when we went.
when we saw you.
Yeah. That was probably the furthest that we've ever traveled. So what it is in our conference, typically you play all the games. I mean, all the schools twice, once at home and once at their home. And so for like our travel weeks, how it would work is we'd have a practice and weights on Monday. And then typically we would either have another practice on Tuesday, leave Tuesday night, or leave Wednesday morning at like 4 a.m. And then you'd be gone from school and you wouldn't get back till Saturday night around like 12 or 1-ish. And then you'd have Sunday off and then you would do it again. So it was very grueling and very, very hard to like keep up with school for sure. And it was also really hard because it was like, my first quarter of my freshman year of college, everyone was just really getting to know each other. And I felt like, especially when season ended.
Isn't it crazy that I'm getting emotional?
Why are you getting emotional?
I don't even know. It's so crazy right now that I'm just like hearing you and I'm like, oh my God, she had to do this all by herself.
That's grueling.
Oh, it's okay, Mom.
Oh my God. Oh, wow. Go ahead.
Anyways, sorry. It was hard because
Love you.
I love you too.
Sorry.
She's built for it.
I'm so sorry. I'm like, oh
No,
my
Spoken
God.
like
okay.
a true dad.
Hearing you, I'm like, wow. Like it was hard.
Yeah, it was definitely, it was challenging. Everyone, like, you would just come back and like everyone I felt like had friend groups. And I mean, I had friend groups. Like I genuinely am really good friends with everyone on my team. And like, I'm so lucky that I get along with all of them so well because I know that's not the case for many schools. And for a little bit, it wasn't the case for us either. Like we really had to find a flow, but it was definitely like really hard, like coming back to school on Monday, missing a bunch of work. And then like everyone in your class, like, talking, like just like hanging out, like getting to know each other. And then like, even like on my days off or like if I had a night off, like I would just be so tired that I'm like, I can't like find the energy to do this, So it was definitely challenging, but that's why like the last quarter I just had was like so important to me. And like, I'm really like happy with how it turned out. Cause I definitely like was able to turn things around. But everyone says like season for any athlete is like for any sport is very lonely. It just happened to be that like, it just sucked that it was during fall, when everyone was moving
like
in.
Right when you got there, right?
Yeah.
It was like your very first semester and you guys were in season right away.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's move past volleyball for a second and just like talk about what you're going to school for, what you think you may change your major to, because that's been a discussion as of late. Not a big one. I changed my major. I don't think you did, right? You did not?
Nope. I was a journalism major the entire time.
Oh, look at her. She's so... Anyway.
I didn't do anything with it. So it's not like I'm working at the New York Times.
She's like, nope, I was a journalism major the entire time. Okay.
Not like I'm some esteemed writer at the New Yorker.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's talk about that.
Okay, so I'm studying political science currently, which I actually do like studying it. It's just I'm not really sure what I want to do with that. And the more that I study it, the more I realize like I don't really want to do it. Because it's one thing to find politics interesting, which I do, and it's another thing to like devote your life to like something within politics. And it's very like, I was talking to Dad about this the other day, like I don't like how like politicians' addresses will get leaked, like their their kids.
Job.
It's dangerous, exactly. And definitely like I still like think about working in public policy. That's still something.
Yeah, why did that
important to me.
change? Because that was supposed to be your major. So what happened?
Political science is just more broad. Like
Okay.
public policy is like really small. Like I would really just do public policy, but with political science, there's a lot of different realms you can go into, which I liked. But I don't know. Like it just, part of me is just like, it's such a specific major that even now I'm a freshman and I'm still like, I don't know if I want to do this. So I'm like, I don't know if I want to keep pursuing it. Cause I'll be a junior or senior. I'm like, okay, great. I have this degree I have no interest in pursuing.
Oh yeah, I don't want that.
So like if a part of me right now is just like, I don't know if I want to do this. Like, I just don't want to do it anymore.
Okay.
So I'm taking like econ and like US social movements and Spanish next quarter. Those just get some like, hopefully they'll just get some like prerequisites out of the way. But Dad wants me to be a business major.
I do.
And I don't want to do that.
Do what you want.
I don't know what I want to do. That's
true.
the
Do
problem. Business is so broad to where, I could do anything with a business degree.
You've always been an advocate for social justice and social injustice. So like, why don't you go into sociology?
Okay, I was actually thinking about that because I was writing a paper for my comparative politics class, and the feedback that I kept getting back was, you're looking at this from too much of a sociology point of view and not a political point of view. But in my eyes, I was like, that's what makes the paper better, like,
but
and that's
also,
what makes it interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
So I was thinking about sociology. I'm not really like sure what I could do with that. I would definitely find that like the most interesting probably. But at the same time, like, business is very broad. I could minor in anything and have like a specialization in something, but I'm not really sure. I feel like I could go either way because I'm very competitive and I'm very passionate. So I could be a CEO or I could advocate for social justice. I could kind of go either way.
I always thought that you'd like work at a think tank. That's what I always thought. Like you'll be creating policies, like, because that's what you've always like ever since you were like getting water for Sierra Leone, like back in 4th grade.
Yeah, and she's always been sort of more interested than the average person in sort of the granular policy that will get you to social change.
I don't know. Yeah, I definitely just want to like take some different classes and just see what interests me.
Do it.
Yeah.
I think one great area where you could impact social change would be econ.
Stop it.
I don't want to do it. I'm not doing that.
Stop it.
Chloe, my roommate.
Am I not selling it?
No, Chloe, my roommate, is an econ major, and
it's hard.
I don't want to do it.
You don't want to do it?
I don't want to do it.
You saw her book open one day?
I saw her math class that she had to take, and I was like, no, I'm not doing that. It's not my thing.
Fair enough. Just don't go into communication. That's my only rule. You cannot go into communication.
No way. You're too smart for
You'd
that.
be a stack of 5,000 applicants.
I know Parker's a communications major. She was too smart for it too.
She was.
I mean, Dad was a communications major.
I didn't work my ass off all my life for you guys to go in with what I do for a living.
You're going to get a lot of haters right now.
Totally.
I know, but you were a communications major.
Nothing. It just burns you out. Like life quality suffers a lot. You want to talk about life quality?
Yeah.
You've seen me in action. So, and I got to tell you, it's just not a life I want for my children. So you will because I can't stop you, do whatever it is you want in life. But I'm just, my role as a dad right now is more advisory than parental. And I'm advising you, do not do this.
Parker's a communications major, and look what she's doing. How many times does she call, telling us her day was so hard.
I had to start at 2 a.m. for the morning news.
Oh my God, that's awful.
Yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I won't do it.
Anyway, just something to keep in the back of your mind when you're throwing a dart at the dartboard to pick your next major. Maybe not include that one in any of the diamonds.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So let's go back to how it's been 8 months now since we sold the house, and you were the one that was the most vocal about it being sold because you were the baby and you could not come back for Thanksgiving or Christmas to the house. So it's been 8 months. We still had a little conversation in the car the other day where you got sassy about it. How are you feeling 8 months out?
I still don't really like to talk about it. Like, just, I don't know. I think like it's different, like, because I had such a challenging first quarter and like not having a house to go back to, and like, you know, spending Thanksgiving with a family that wasn't mine. Like, it was definitely like hard. I still get really upset about it because it was just like, I feel like I've gone through so much change like in the last like however many months. So
And that was a big one.
yeah, I mean, it's just like there's a sense of like comfortability with having a house and having your child in bed you can sleep in, and just like being able to see your friends like over break and like not have to like fly to go see them. Like that was all that I wanted after having such a bad first quarter, and like not having that like really, really sucked.
Yeah. You were a migrant like us over the holidays.
Yeah.
But for Thanksgiving, a lot of kids don't come home. I'm just saying, a lot of kids don't come home for Thanksgiving because it's only like 3 or 4 days. So you probably may not have come home, even if we lived in LA. Christmas was different. You got to go home, but you didn't get to go home to your house because we did promise you that when we sold the house, we'd come back for Christmas so you can see all your friends during winter break, because that's the really first big break. So we did do that.
Yep. Yeah. And I rented that amazing attic for you to come home and see all your friends in Los Angeles, the Armenian Palace.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad that we all got to go home for sure.
I know,
like,
but it wasn't like your home.
It's not the same. We're not going to go home next year either. And I'm going to go like, now I'm going to start going like 5-6 months without seeing my friends. Like,
but you have your godmother there. Carly and Mike are there. There's so many people
but
that
it's just not the same, you know? Like,
no,
it's not.
It will never be the same.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, I just felt like everything changed like so fast, you know? Like, I was so excited and so happy. And I thought like life is always going to be great. And then I go to school and it sucks for 3 months. And then I don't have a house to go back to. And like, it just like, I mean, there's nothing we can do now, but I definitely like wish that like,
What, we should have waited?
I still think you guys should have waited.
How long?
At least a year. Like like how you guys said you would have. I definitely just wish that like, I don't know, like that I was kind of like kept in the loop a little more, because it wasn't just like you guys leaving and traveling. Like it's my life too. And like, I don't know, like the other day when you're just talking about like, you know, the process of selling the house, like it just like, it still really bothers me because like, oh my God, sorry. For me, it was like, that was like my whole life, you know, like it changed like so much. And like, I don't know, like it just like bothers me sometimes because I know that you're just like, oh, my friend came into my work and was like, the market's great right now, you got to sell the house. And then you just went home and you're like, we're going to sell the house. As if like,
didn't
you
put
know,
any thought into it.
It was
like,
abrupt. Yeah.
It was, yeah. I mean, like, I don't know.
I guess the way we thought about it was that you were going to start your life in college. I don't know. Like,
we didn't think you would think about us or LA. It wasn't that we weren't considering you. I guess we were considering long-term what was best for us as a family, and also what was best for our finances, obviously, which plays into what's best for our family. But also we just like, when your oldest sister went off, we didn't hear from her for 3 months, you know, and granted,
even with Mia, like, I mean, Mia came back in the summers, you know, but everyone, like the other two seemed to, like, our experience with them was that once they went to college, that was it. Like, they were off to college and they would visit during break, but it was like, I don't know. It never felt like nobody was like ever. There was, out of your two sisters, not one of them said, I'm really homesick, I want to come home. Like, they had homesick moments.
They wanted to be home for Thanksgiving,
right?
Or Christmas,
but nobody
or
was like, I can't take this, I need to be back home.
Yeah.
So we never thought that you would have an attachment to the house because they didn't. You know what I mean? Like we were just like, oh, because once a kid goes off to college, that's their new life. And it wasn't like I don't know, like the first 2 experiences were just that the kids went off to college and was like, we're out of here.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's just like I didn't like that, like, well, one with volleyball, like I had to leave like a month, 2 months earlier than all my friends. And I didn't like that, like in my very limited summer, I was spending the last 2 weeks, like having to pack up my childhood home, like that wasn't exactly like ideal. And I don't know, just like, yeah, I just like in Thanksgiving, like I understand like maybe I wouldn't have come home, but like, like you have like a rough, like really, really rough, like 3 months. You just want to like
see your parents.
Yeah. Just like sleep in your bed.
Yeah. It probably would have been better.
I mean, I definitely looking back now, it's like your sisters did have an advantage you didn't. And that was even if they didn't want to come home, they knew they could.
Yeah.
Right.
So
that
in fairness to you. And also they didn't have the stressors that you had. They didn't have honors college. They weren't athletes. None of that. And they weren't putting all kinds of pressure on themselves. They literally were showing up to college and was like, hello world, here I am, and meeting friends and hanging out and going to parties and football games and all that stuff.
I think there is a comfort to like knowing that your house is still there. Like if you never want to go back, it's okay. You don't have to go back, but the house is still there, which is what the other 2 had. You're right. And Ellie never had that comfort. I guess it's got to be painful for you to hear like how flippant we were about selling the house. And I'm so sorry. Like when I was saying that story the other day, you're right. It sounds like it is very flippant and it happened that fast. And truthfully, I never in a million years would have thought that this would have happened. I just didn't, like, because we didn't have that experience with the other 2. You know what I mean? So I'm really so sorry. If Parker and Mia had this reaction when they went off to college and it was painful and they were missing the house, we never in a million years would have done that. But because they went off to college and was like, see ya, don't want to be ya, we were like, okay, she's going to be the same way. And she's going to be traveling with her team. She's never going to like miss this house.
Yeah, we never thought you were like, we knew everything you had on your plate and we never once suspected out of all of our children that you would be the one to like miss home the most.
So I'm really sorry. We didn't consider you, and that's the truth, because we only went off of our previous experiences and that's all it was.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry. How can I make it up?
Well, there's nothing you can do, but yeah, it just sucks. I feel like all my belongings are just in my dorm room, No,
there's
like,
boxes here.
I assure you.
No, there's an attic. There's an attic. There's an attic.
We've had lots of conversations about this. So, and Mom and I are still working on a second, our main house, somewhere, which is never going to be like the one. It's never going to be the same as the one that you grew up in. It's never going to be the home, but it will be a home for you, and it won't be in a retirement community, and you'll be able to have a new place to call your own until you're off on into your own career, into your own life and everything. And, I'm disappointed in myself that maybe at times I was callous about, how it was all.
Oh, we were for sure. There's no question about it. Both of us.
And I'm sorry.
Yeah, we were so like, I was just like, pack. I like literally was like, you're being a brat. You're not helping. It's like, just pack.
And the only thing I can say is, looking at it from different vantage points, it's like the long-term health of this family in terms of finance and mobility and being able to chase you around to games across the country. It's like, I'm not locked down in LA anymore with a bunch of bills that I had before that, now all of a sudden it's like, I have freedom to come see you in Louisville or, Southern Utah or wherever, And so, I don't know. I mean,
that might not be important to her. Babe, that might not be important.
She might not care. She really doesn't care if I'm there at the games or not.
She just wants her bed back.
I know.
And
then I don't know, just like hearing like the people who bought it like just aren't taking care of it. Like
I know that's very upsetting. So unfortunately, like we have heard that the people who bought it, like we spent a lot of money making that house look pretty. And this happens with probably, my guess is 70% of home sellers. The people who buy it just don't take care of it the way that you did. And we've heard stories over and over again, but it still sucks. I mean, they let the entire landscape die, and we spent thousands, and that's with an S, of money on the landscape. Everything that we did, they actually undid every single thing. Yeah. And then the house got broken into twice. Yeah. So that's been painful. And it didn't help that like we were just a few months out, and Ellie saw a TikTok of the girl, because she's a professional singer that bought the house, and she did a TikTok, and somebody sent her sister Mia the TikTok and said, "Isn't this your backyard?" And all the greenery we had installed was dead.
All the Mother's Days that we spent planting in the backyard together was uprooted.
It's true. It's true. And the pool was green. And so all of those things. And it's painful. It's painful for even me. And I literally couldn't wait to move out of LA. I may have never shared that with you guys, but the last 2 years were extremely hard for me. I always was concerned for your safety. I was concerned for my safety. I've said it on the podcast before. There were too many things that could have gone wrong at all times with you girls, like car accidents, getting robbed, getting mugged, like us getting robbed, our house getting broken into. That was always a concern. So I was just a ball of stress the last 2 years I was there. So for me, I was so happy to be out for your safety and for everyone's safety. Not that Seattle's like a safe place either, but I'm just telling you, we know all the stories. We lived it. We lived it. There were homeless and drug addicts on our street. So we lived it. It's sad that the house has been broken into. It's sad that they didn't keep up with it, but there's nothing we could do. They paid for that house and they burn it to the ground. It would suck if they did, but they could, and there's nothing we can do. I just remember like the good things about it, like my sister-in-law and brother had a home before the one they live in now. And my brother, how he does everything like perfectly. They completely remodeled that house, and people came in, went into foreclosure. There's a hole in the roof. Like she just said how painful it was for them to like walk in and see like all the ceramic tile my brother had put down cracked and smashed. And I think everybody goes through that. And I'm so sorry that like you went through that at such a young age and it being like such a fond memory. It was painful for us too, to see that TikTok, hear the stories about it getting broken into. So, Yeah,
and it was painful when you guys were leaving. In fact, I shot a lot of video as we were packing up to leave, and I was going to make a music video out of it and all that. And it was going to be like a bittersweet mood and everything, but
it was just bitter.
The emotions between it wouldn't have been fair to show the world kind of the video of you and Mia during that time. 'Cause you were the two that were home. And, even Parker, who kind of just went off under her own life when she was 18 years old, felt the need to come back to LA one last time and see the house, Mm-hmm. And so,
it was a good house to us.
It was a fantastic house. I mean, it really, in the end, we didn't always have what we wanted from that or out of that house, but we definitely had everything we needed to raise 3 girls. And so, we did what it took and we made it. I was just going to say though, like I get how you're feeling, because if I'm being 100% honest, and Mom knows I do this, like I still look on Zillow at my grandmother's old house where it was like my happy place when I was a kid. And if that sucker ever goes up for sale, I swear to God, I'm buying it. So, and I was just talking when my aunts were in town yesterday, I was just talking with them about it. It was their mother, my mother's sisters and my grandma. And, as kids, it was just a place where we would all sort of coalesce and have our family time together. And for me, I had a much more disrupted childhood than you had, but for me, it was the stable place where I remember being as a kid. So I'm sorry I overlooked that you would feel that way about our house.
It never dawned on me. Like it wasn't even in my head. So I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
It's fine.
We're
and
terrible.
we don't say sorry for many things.
I hardly ever apologize for anything.
Oh yeah. Facts.
It's really hard to spit those words out.
Facts. All right. Let's move on to a nicer topic.
Please.
Love you.
Love you too.
Okay. So you've always been a really good kid, and the other two always get angry about it.
I know.
They always do, but it's so funny because I know I've said this before, that they always say you're the favorite, and I respond with, she's not the favorite. she always just does what I ask her to do. And then they both shut up. Like neither one of them can argue with me about that fact because they know it's true. I mean, what did your friend say one time to you in high school?
My friend was like, "Oh, your mom must love you. You just do whatever she wants."
It's true.
It is true. It is true.
You don't always do what I want, but you always do what mom wants.
Okay, so I was just curious. I think that would be a really good time to talk about this. So if we had to talk about like the missteps that we made as parents during high school, all right, we already know one of them was selling the house. Yeah. Okay, we know that. But okay, so like, what would you have wished, or what would you had like thought like, oh, they shouldn't have done that, like when I was growing up, but what would you have wanted us not to do?
Yeah, like now that you're older and you
Yes.
have a little bit of the ability to look back, like what parts of our parenting or your childhood are you like, what the fuck, or what, like why did they do it that way?
Yeah.
Okay, there's not a lot actually. I was actually trying to think about them. One specific thing that came to my mind that my mom does is I will tell her, I'll never forget, I was really excited because my friend's dad had a boat, and I was so excited because I was like, yes, like I could only go on a boat when we visit like my grandparents in Arizona. And so, you know, for my friend in LA to have a boat and like invite me on it, I was like, yes, like, oh my God, like our whole friend group could go. And I'm like saying to mom, like, I'm so excited he invited me on his boat. And my mom goes on this long tangent about, I guess, a friend that she knew that died in a boating accident. I'm like 13 and I'm just excited to be there.
It was about people drinking on and driving a boat. So I actually had to call the parents and make sure
but
they
you
went
went into pretty gory details. Somebody got cut up in the blades or something like that.
So I'm just like, you know, smiling ear to ear because I get to go inner tubing again. And now I have this like
somebody got hit.
This mental image of human ceviche in my head. And like I wasn't excited anymore.
Ellie, and I know, I'm so sorry. I don't like boats. And when we ever went on a lake, I never went on a Saturday because I have this story of somebody I knew whose brother-in-law.
Did you know them?
I know them.
You know them.
Yeah, whose brother-in-law was driving the boat and he was drunk and he hit a young girl who was on a tube because he didn't see her. He was drinking and he was driving a boat and he hit a girl on another boat that was tubing. And that could happen so easy. And she lost her arm. Okay.
Sorry. I know.
Like, you guys need to hear these stories.
Well, I know that we need to hear it, but no, in the moment,
and so then I had to call the parents and tell them you couldn't go on the boat if they were going to be drinking. I don't care. Like, I'm sorry. Yeah, I ruined your fun experience, but
yeah.
If you saw, but
she still went. I mean, the parents assured you that they weren't going to get hammered and drive the boat.
Yeah.
Right?
But then I wanted her to know, like, if somebody's drinking a beer and driving, don't get on inner tube. Like, just stay in the boat. That's your safest bet. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm sorry I ruined that.
Should do that. What else?
I do have a habit of doing that.
Oh, you guys wouldn't let us go to the bathroom on a road trip? That was like
No, that's not
you
true.
Guys. Not you guys.
That's not true.
I don't want to do them all.
I also had to go to the bathroom.
My mom, no, don't even.
Here we go.
Yeah,
my mom would only let us stop if she wanted a Mexican Coke. That was the only time she would let us stop to go to the bathroom. And I'd have to go because it'd be like 5 hours to Arizona. And I'm like, no. And I'm like 8. And I'd be like, oh, you know, like, and I have to go even more because I'm so anxious about having to go that it makes me go. And I'd be like, Mom. And she's like, what? I think she just knew. Like, I have to go to the bathroom. She's like whip her head back. She's like, do you really have to go? I'm like, yeah.
No, the kids did this thing. I'm sorry. I was not going to go on a road trip where every hour we're stopping to go to the bathroom. They knew it. I cut that shit out right from the start. I was like, we are not doing this. We're not doing a road trip stopping at every rest stop. And let's be honest. Come on, James. They loved looking at bathrhrooms.
Oh, we did have kids who had a bathroom fetish.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
There wasn't everywhere they went. They had to like Target, then
Chili's.
we got to stop at Ralph's. Oh, I got to go to the bathroom again.
Ralph's, the grocery store, everywhere we went. I was like, no.
They wouldn't even be, I was a guy, so I had to stand outside, but I could hear them in there screwing off. They weren't even going to the bathroom.
No. So I was like, we're not doing this. I'm not getting on a road.
I'll give you that.
That's 4 hours. That turns into a 6-hour trip because we're stopping to go to the bathroom.
Sure, but 8 hours
no, it was
from
never 8.
Chicago to Youngstown. And
No.
poor little Mia peed herself
She
because she was afraid to
so
ask to go to the bathroom.
That's not true. You
She
guys
was
turned that
5
story.
years old.
You guys turned that story.
I remember having
okay.
to change a pair of tights in the ice
Okay.
on the side of a
You
freeway.
guys turned that story first. The next time
Did
you
she not
say
pee
it,
herself?
okay, but she wasn't 5. She was still in a diaper. Okay, you guys have to stop.
She wasn't in a
Seriously.
diaper.
Okay, you turned that story into like
She was in a
you
diaper.
exaggerate that.
She wasn't
all
in
the
a
time.
diaper.
She was
No,
little.
I remember
she was
it. So
Little.
that means
Yeah,
I
she
was
She
at
was
least
walking.
4.
Okay, she was 4 and she was
wasn't
3.
in a diaper at
Okay,
4
no,
years
you're
old.
like saying she's 5, and now next year it's gonna be she was 10.
Let me tell
It's
this
like-
story. Let me tell this story. So we're going from Chicago to Ohio during Christmas, and everyone's really excited. You know, spirits are up. Santa's coming. And Mia is sitting in the back seat, and she what did she even?
She did this all the time, though.
No.
She's like,
It was like last minute. She's like, I really got to
Let
go.
her say it.
she's like, Mom, I have to go to the bathroom. And then Mom's like, okay, let me just find the bathroom. She's like, I need to go right now.
Because she'd been holding it. Like, she had the fear of God in her. I was always glad when the kids finally were the first ones to crack, because I was like, ooh, I really had to go to the bathroom. I'm a grown-ass man, and I didn't want to look over at her and say, even when we've been on the road, she's like, what are we doing? She'll be on her phone with her thumbs, and she'll look up, and she'll be like, why are we on an off-ramp? Why are we on an off-ramp? And I'm like, oh, I'm getting gas, and we don't even need gas. I just walk in and take a piss.
No, Mia,
Okay,
Parker, and
I know it was bad when we all took your friends to Arizona, and I heard someone whispering in the back,
Yep.
and I go, "What's going on?" And
Yeah.
nobody said anything,
Yeah.
and then it was Annie. I think somebody was like, "Annie, you tell her," and then Annie was like, Mrs. Gordon, I really need to go to the bathroom. And I was like, oh, honey, no problem.
Yeah, you made your friends
like-
say it.
Yeah,
You're using your friends as shields to get to your own bathroom.
Yeah, Parker, this is so messed up, but Parker, Mia, and I would always be in the back seat together, and Parker would always have to go first, I feel, but she'd be like, Ellie, ask Mom if we can go to the bathroom. And I'm like, no, don't make me do it.
You're the baby. You always get
We'd be like,
put up to that.
Mia, you do it. Mia's like, no.
That's exactly
Yep.
no.
Parker would be like, your mom's favorite. Just do it. I'm like, no, I'm not
Your
doing
mom's
it.
favorite.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I'm whatever.
You're a Nazi when it comes to
I
that.
just-
There's just no other word for it.
Yeah.
I
it's
just didn't want to
scary.
make a 4-hour trip 6.5 hours, so everyone can be grateful and thankful.
Mia was so happy when she drove out there with my friend Bill and I and his son Owen, because we
Oh.
stopped.
Well,
We would get ice cream.
Bill's like
We
you.
stopped,
He has
like-
to go every 30 minutes.
So what?
Yeah.
It was like we had a lot of fun actually
Yeah,
in that car.
I'm
We
sure
took our
you did.
sweet ass time and got there an hour and a half after you guys did. And
Sure
we
you
had a lot
did.
of fun. We
I
had
just wanna
chili
get there.
dogs. We tried all kinds of things.
Oh my god.
Anyway, all right. What else?
You guys didn't let me become a Disney Channel star when I wanted to be.
Oh, all 3 of you had a problem with that. Parker,
Remember that guy walked up to Parker in the mall and said, "You could be a child model or whatever," and we were like, "Hell no!"
No, yeah. It was the one time I let Parker do a shoot for a Quaker Oats commercial, and it was just because Sean was the photographer, and Sean called and said, you didn't know this family, but
Yeah.
the Murphys, and Sean called and said, hey, can you bring Parker down for a shoot? That was it. That was the only time. Oh, Parker's still bent. Like, she is still like, I could have been like a Disney star. And I was like,
I could have made it big.
Ugh, yeah, but then you'd be covered in tattoos. You'd been molested like
Mhm.
10,000 times by now. So no, be grateful.
You'd be singing booty songs.
Oh
Oh
yeah,
my
for sure.
God.
That should be on a list of things that we did right,
Mhm.
not a thing
Yeah,
we
it
did
really
wrong.
should. You should flop the list.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, now for things that you did right.
Oh, there's a list for things we did
Yes.
right. Oh, okay.
I bet it's long.
They are, actually.
Aw.
Oh my god. The first one is letting me throw parties, even though every single one would get out of hand and end
Oh
with
my
dad
God.
yelling at a kid in his robe.
So mad.
And every time Dad would say, "No more parties."
This is the
Yep.
last one. This is the
And then
last
I'd
one.
wake up. Yep, it's
Be
the
like,
last
it's
one.
winter formal this weekend.
Yeah. And I'd wake up the next morning and there'd be a house full of kids and they'd be like, all the boys would be like, "Hi, Mr. Gordon. I'm really sorry about throwing up in the bushes last night." I'm like, "Come in, let's get waffles. We're all right."
I'll never forget there was like this one party my senior year. It was after homecoming. That one just got like that was just wild.
The one.
That was the one. Dad was like, no more, we're done. And I wasn't allowed to have another one until I had my graduation party, which was like 8 months later. And I kid you not, almost every single weekend, the same group of people would be like, Ellie, let's just go to your house. And I'm like, guys, I can't. Like
It's
my
closed
dad,
off.
my dad said no. Like seriously, he's gonna be. He's like, no. My guy friends always be like, just let me talk to him. Just let me talk to him.
Yeah.
I'll change his mind. I'm like,
I remember this. They were so mad. I was so happy. One of the reasons I was so happy to start construction on the guest house was the backyard was all tore up, and there was just no way you guys could party back there.
yeah.
And I remember leading up to it, it was like one or two of your girlfriends had been over and in the backyard, and all of a sudden they saw construction was almost done.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden it was like I would
word
go
on the street.
Yeah, I would like be at a school function with you or something, and all the girls and boys would be walking up to me like, "Hey, how's that guest house coming? How's that guest house coming?" They could not wait until we were back in business there.
Yeah.
So funny.
I knew it was bad. I went home and told James, I knew it was bad. I was at like a mother-daughter event at school. And at this event, 3 moms came up to me and said, "Oh, you're Ellie's mom. You're the one that has the parties." And I was like, "Oh, that's the reputation I'm getting now."
We were the
that
party
was
house.
really bad. That was really bad. I
reputation.
did not want that.
No.
And I was like, "Oh, hell no." And then I came home and I said, 3 moms came up to me. They were very grateful. They were like thankful. They're like, "Thank you so much for." I was like, "Oh no, we can't do that. We cannot turn into the party house."
Yeah.
We did.
We did for sure. We absolutely did. Yep.
Oh my God. Okay. Another thing that you guys did right, I said, was putting me in sports at the ripe age of 4 so I could channel all that anger and competition I, for some reason, had in me when I was 4.
You still have
You
it.
were tough.
I still have
it. You were the toughest 3-year-old
Yeah.
ever.
I was saying to Dad, I was like, no one should be surprised that I'm a D1 athlete. Like since I was little, I was so intense and just wanted to win. And I'm the same
Always.
way.
Yeah.
You did not like it when people told you what to do or pushed you around or you know, you had in our house, you had 4 people telling you what to do at all times, and you never took kindly to that from the age of from the time you were able to walk until 4. I remember the soccer ball was bigger than you were when you started. Thank God you found sports.
Yeah.
I remember one time I was with you and we were out somewhere and you were little. You were like maybe 6 and I was holding your hand and you were upset about something. You said, "I'm so tired of everyone telling me what to do."
Yep.
And I was like, I felt so bad because you had me, you had Dad, then you had Parker and you had Mia. And I was like, oh, she's right. I felt so bad. And I remember saying
But
to
she
you,
was
"I'm sorry."
bratty though.
She was bratty.
She was super bratty. Like, I remember one time where everybody was like, "Oh, we're going to, little Luke's birthday party. It's a jamboree or whatever." It's like, "Oh, cool. I like jamboree." And Ellie in the back seat would be like, "You can't go. You're too fat."
I said that.
Yeah. You'd be like, I'd be like, "Oh, we're all going to go to jamboree." And you'd be like, "Not you. You're too fat."
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I don't remember that.
And I actually wasn't fat back then. I was like looking at myself like, I don't know, man. I'm like,
She was
I
brutal.
hit the gym a bunch of times every week.
Oh, yeah. She was sassy.
I just would learn some words at school and just use them like
You were.
relentlessly.
Oh,
I
yeah.
guess.
She was sassy.
Oh,
was
your
sassy.
2 older sisters would always say you had the filthiest mouth out of all 3 of them. So
I did. Oh my God, that's so funny.
I'd say the craziest thing. So anyway.
You were fun to raise though. You were really fun to raise. I mean, you were kind of like I say to everybody and any of the moms that are listening who are, close with me, I would always say Ellie was raised by wolves. And it was like, cause you were literally you were like on your own.
Yeah, Mia was your legal guardian.
Yeah.
She was. I used to call Mia Mom, and I'd
Yeah.
be like, "Mom," like to Mia, and Mom would be like, "What?" I'm like, "Not you." But I vividly remember when we all went camping that one time, and all the moms left after one day. It was a group of like, I don't even know, like 10 families and a bunch of kids, a bunch of dads, and all the moms left after like the first night because they just couldn't do it anymore. And there's this photo of me. I'm wearing my mom's sweatshirt, but I'm like 5, so it's down to like my ankles, and I have like one shoe on.
Yeah.
I've no idea, and like my hair is all in a rat's nest, and I'm just so happy. I'm like covered in mud, and I'm just like.
And I remember it was on Facebook. Someone posted on Facebook and everyone was like, "Who is the girl with the one shoe?" And it was all like so many people. "Oh, that's Ellie. That's me. That's Denise's daughter."
Yep.
And nobody was surprised.
She drove home that way.
Yeah.
Like when we drove her home, I was like, "Where's your shoe?" And you're like,
You remember I lost my shoe at school too?
Oh yeah. How do you lose a shoe? Like this is the kid. Like when you find a shoe and you think, who left without a shoe?
Right.
That was my kid.
We've
that was
got
my
the kid.
kid.
Yeah.
We've got the kid that left the shoe.
Yeah. Yeah.
You had your own desk in in your first grade classroom that they gave you when you were misbehaving. It was your dedicated desk.
Yes.
And then all the kids wanted to sit at the desk.
I made it cool. You guys couldn't punish me.
Yeah, you're right. You did. That teacher called so much. I knew her by the first name, by her first name. Like the fourth, like it had to be the fifth time she called, and I go, Beth, what is it? And she's like, Denise, she's still not listening. And you're right. The bad kid desk ended up becoming like, it worked against us because everyone wanted to sit in the bad kid desk.
Yep. And Ellie would just walk into class and say, I think I'm going to misbehave today, so I'm just going straight to the bad kid desk.
That's what she would literally say to the teacher. You would just walk in and say, I don't think, right?
Yeah. No, yeah.
You do have a way of turning so many punishments into like a new adventure, I must say. For instance, the drug phone in high school. So Ellie got in trouble and we took her iPhone away. But then, because she's a kid in club sports and doing a million activities.
And I was genuinely a good kid. Let's start there. Yeah. I was a good kid.
Not that month, but we still had to keep in contact with her. Taking her phone away was actually punishing to us. So we gave her one of those little flip phones with a minute card. And the next thing you know, like all
That's
the kids.
That's why you call it the drug phone, because it's
I call it the drug phone.
It's like a disposable phone.
Yeah, so I call it the drug phone because, it's the phone that drug dealers use that they buy at 7-Eleven and throw away when the deal is done. So turns out all the girls in school really loved Ellie's drug phone. They all took selfies with it. It turned into like
I saw it on Instagram and I was like, I literally went to you. I go, this is not working. This drug phone is making the rounds on everyone's Instagram page. Like they're taking selfies with it and someone's taking a picture of them taking a picture. I'm like, what happened with the punishment phone?
All my friends' contacts in there. Even like my senior year, my friend kept saying, she's like, I keep texting you and you keep not responding. And I was like, oh girl, like you're texting the drug phone. Like I don't use that anymore. I'll never forget. I like ran out of minutes on like the first day because I was calling all my friends. I'm like, I hate my parents. I just can't wait for I have my real phone back. But like there was no punishment. I literally would go like, hey guys, like get in this. Like,
I saw a picture on Instagram of like her and her sister and like two of their friends in our bathroom taking a selfie through the mirror with the drug phone. It was all
fuzzy. The picture was like all fuzzy. It was one of those ancient drug phone cameras.
I was so annoyed.
It took me so long to send that photo to myself because you had to like press each button 3 times. I was like it was so hard. Oh my god, it was so funny though.
Well, you were definitely like a fun kid to raise. I mean, I even remember down to like, Ellie was not an early driver. So it's even as a senior, I think it was like first semester, senior year.
First month.
We had to drive her to school and pick her up. And I would be like, girl, you're 17. Like you need to be driving. But then sometimes I would forget to get her because I owned a business and she's 17 and I would forget to get her. And she would call me at work. And I knew if a call came in, it was an emergency. Like the kids know when I'm working generally not to call unless it's like something important. So when I would see her name pop up and it's like still school hours or just ending, I remember I was like, oh my gosh, I was supposed to pick her up. So I'm like, Ellie, and she's like, Mom, where are you? And I said, I'm still at work. She goes, oh my God, Mom, how am I supposed to get home? And I go, where's Dana? Where's Dana? And all I hear is Ellie yelling, Dana! And she's running down the school driveway after a car. It's another mom.
Yes.
And she's running after Dana.
It was so embarrassing because the mom's daughter was like a freshman or like a sophomore or something. And I was like, Emma, ask your mom if she can take me home. Like, I would just pile on my stuff. I remember I left like
and your phone was still going. You had not hung up because you're literally looking for someone. And
I'll never forget. Like I found Dana in the parking lot. I was like, oh, can you please take me home? Like my mom forgot about me. She's like, yeah, but you have to wait. Like Emma's not done with her cross country practice. I'd be like, okay. And we would just like sit in the car and talk for like 30 minutes until Emma was done. I'll never forget. I guess my volleyball jerseys like fell out of my bag or something. I couldn't find them anywhere. And little Emma the next day comes up. She's like, my mom washed these for you. And like handed them to me. I was like, it really does take a village. Like,
well, for you, it did for sure. I remember there were so many, like I'd be across the city. Mom would be at work. And all of a sudden you'd be like, how am I getting from this to that? And I'd be like, I don't know. You'd have to figure out. So many moms pitched in with you. Shay's mom, Dawn.
On Mother's Day, she brought flowers to 2 other moms. Erin and Dawn.
I had to. I literally had to. I have this pillow in my dorm room of my mom and her friend Fa and Erin, and I went to school with both of their daughters, and our families are all super close, but they gave me this pillow because like they were like my moms. And when all my friends see it in college, they're like, who are these women? I'm like, well, you know, the person in the middle, that's my actual mom. Like she gave birth to me, but the two on the side, the two on the side actually drove me to and from school.
Oh yeah, and when Ellie would say, "I need help with something," if it was something really big, I would say, "Call Fa or call Erin."
Erin and Fa did all like the winter formal decorations when I had to plan winter formal because I was on ASB, and I was like, God, like I need a mom who can do this and who will be reliable and will, you know, like who can come and spend time on it. And I was like, I know.
That's not my mom.
Yeah, the other moms that my mom's friends with.
She literally, so those two moms planned this entire event. They had a budget and everything else. And I would call the moms and say, what time do I need to be there? Like I would just like, they were already there. Remember? And I said to you, James, I was like, we got to go and help them. And you're like watching TV. You're like, oh, come on. And I was like, no, this is not even their child. We have to go and help them.
Yeah. Their kids were not on.
They weren't on student council.
They were not on student council.
Yeah. So
right?
they're helping like our kid. Yeah. It was crazy.
It was so funny. Erin McCown, like we'd be talking about some event that we have to go to. She's like, do you need a ride, honey? I'm like, yeah, I need a ride.
So, all right. So I have a question for you. How is it having parents that are doing what we're doing?
It's actually really cool because like, well, all my friends from college will get you guys like on their For You page on TikTok and stuff and like be like talking about it.
Is it embarrassing?
No, I mean, I don't love it when we're together and you're like, Ellie, you know, like just because I don't know how to like react. I'm like, hi. It's not embarrassing. I mean, like
it's
I think
a little invasive.
Yeah, I think it's really cool what you guys are doing.
Invasive when I'm recording.
Yeah.
But overall, like
but overall, I think it's really cool. I mean, like a lot of people wish that they could do that. I mean, my friend who's in college, I sent her your guys' most recent episode, and she was like, I can't wait to buy a house. I'm so informed, and she's 18. Like she doesn't need to buy a house, but like, like all my friends think it's really funny. Like my friend will be like, guys, like Ellie's a nepotism child.
Nepotism baby.
Yeah.
But is it like when people ask what your parents do you ever pause and like, what do you say?
No, I just say, well, they sold their house and they're traveling and they're doing a podcast and they're doing that full time. And they'll be like, oh, that's really cool. Like, what's it like? Like, where have they gone? And like, they ask me all about it. And I just explain to them, like, they're trying to find like their forever home. Like, I mean, a lot of people think it's really cool because I like you guys always say, like, a lot of people like want to do it. Like, even kids like my age are like, God, I would love to just travel and do nothing.
Yeah.
So like, a lot of people like think it's actually really, really cool.
If like you had like your idea of where we could live, is
Yeah,
there
let's
any
talk
place
about
in
your
the country?
top 5 for us.
Like where do you think, like, I mean, you haven't been to a lot of places, but when you look at the country, where do you want mom and dad to settle down? Do you know yet? Or are you still like,
I'm so like, I love the Pacific Northwest and like, I just think it's so beautiful. And like,
It is.
there are some like little towns with mountain people that maybe not the best, but like, I definitely think in Washington, there's like in the areas surrounding Seattle, like Olympia and stuff, like I know a lot of people that are from there and it's like really, really nice. And I think like it would just be nice to like have like a house in the woods or something. Like,
Heck yeah.
Like I really like Washington. I think the weather, like, you know, the winters are cold, but like they're manageable. I mean, like I never experienced a winter before in my life, and like I'm doing fine. I'm very pale, but I'm doing fine. So I like Washington. Definitely I was thinking like, you know, if you guys bought like a lot of property in like a state like Montana and you guys just get a bunch of like animals and just like have like a little farm, like like I think that would be like really, really cool.
Mom doesn't wake up that early enough to feed
I know
chickens.
they would all
you
die.
do though. I could join for like the afternoon
I gotta feed
feeding.
all the animals
in
by
the morning,
myself every day.
I'll do the evening feedings.
Is there evening feedings?
Not I don't know, not very many.
Don't you feed them twice a day?
I don't know.
Oh, you'll be on your own then.
Yeah, so something like that. I was also like, I think that because my sister Mia and I, we like kind of both have a plan. Like we want to move to the East Coast together after college. I really want to move to New York, and she's like maybe Washington DC or something. So I was even thinking like not something like on the East Coast per se, but I know you guys were just looking at like Savannah or something, like just something like kind of in like a
Well,
straight shot.
Yeah,
you know?
we're gonna like actually go visit
Yeah, we haven't really
Tennessee,
gotten
South
into it on the
Carolina,
show, but-
North Carolina, and we're actually gonna go back to Georgia. So we're gonna hit those 4 states like next month.
Yeah.
So it'd be far from New York.
Yeah, and then later
Yeah.
this year we're actually going further up north. Like we're going to visit Patrick in New York, but then from there we're going to
When?
from there
You
we're
wanna
going
go?
to hit a lot of states like Rhode Island, stuff like that. Like a lot of listeners have
Yeah.
chimed in and
Vermont.
said check
So-
out Vermont, Rhode Island,
I'm sure
all
it's
that.
pretty.
So
Yeah, I'm sure
so-
Vermont's gorgeous.
yeah.
And then also like I really like Chicago, and I like your
know.
family there. Like I think that would be like really cool if you guys got it like kind of outside. I mean, I know it's expensive, but
It's just I can't handle the winters. It's
Yeah,
too hard.
it's-
That's
it's
the
too
biggest
cold.
problem for me. That's it. Because we were there during one of your tournaments, and I just said I'm out. Like,
yeah,
I
it
can't.
was really
I know.
cold. But yeah, I mean, honestly, like I just want you guys to like find a place where like even if it's like like we don't all live in like the same vicinity, like it's easy to travel to. I don't see myself like living in like New Mexico or something. So like,
Well, we want to find a place that you guys would all want to live in.
Exactly.
So before we purchase our next house, I promise you, it's not going to be like the house we
You'll
sold.
get, you'll get
have
more input.
You'll
Thanks, guys.
100% have more input. You guys will come out and look at it. Like we want you all to be a part of it. It's not something that Dad and I plan on just saying, hey,
yeah,
every city we go to, we ask the same question, like, would the girls like it? Is it fun for them? Is it easy
Yeah.
to get around? How's the airport? Could they fly in and out easily? So all 3 of you are going to have a really big part in the decision making. So I promise you, whatever the house it is that we choose for the family, you will have a big say in it.
Yeah.
for sure. I'm excited to see what it'll be.
So for you right now, it's Pacific Northwest, but maybe
Pacific
East
Northwest.
Coast too.
Yeah, Pacific Northwest or East Coast. It
Okay.
kind of seems like our family is all kind of migrating that way towards the East Coast anyways. I don't know if Mia wants to stay in Utah, but we've talked about how we want to live together after college. So and I want to go to New York. So if she wants to live with me, she's going to New York with me.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Very
Mia
cool.
knows that we're going to New York. I mentioned it to her. So she's like, I want to join you in the travels.
When
so,
is it?
We're thinking it's going to be July, right? July, August, something like that. Yeah. So I know you start school in August. So maybe we'll figure it out where you can
Yeah.
coincide it with your schedule and join us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For sure.
So, okay. I guess we should probably start wrapping things up, but I just wanted to say for the record, I know you have been through some tough times these past several months. I'm proud of you and the person you are and the person you're becoming. And I love your sense of humor.
Thank you.
And I definitely love the way you clobber a ball into somebody's face. So that's always been a highlight for me, having you as a daughter.
Uh-huh.
And I just really love your spirit. I love everything about the way that you set a goal for yourself and you're willing to play the long game to get there. And it's fortunate because of your work ethic that a lot of times you end up playing the short game, and it happens a lot sooner than it would for a lot of people because you're not afraid to put in the work and, stay on that grind. And so I love you for that. And I'm super proud of you and who you are.
Thank you.
Yes, Dad and I are
Thank
really, really
you.
proud. We like to brag about all of our girls. I mean, look, I always say as a
We do.
parent, it's like, what do you do when you get old? You just brag about your kids. And
Yeah.
so you give us lots of good bragging rights.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
you do. Each of you bring us different things. And for you,
Yeah.
especially, I'm just finally happy I have a kid who, all 3 of my kids were could have been athletically gifted. You were the one that really followed through with it. So, I'm happy.
I got
I'm
you.
happy. I'm happy I have that box checked. So,
Oh,
Yeah, love you, honey.
thanks.
Proud
I
of
love
you
you
too.
guys.
all right. So that's been it for our catch up with Ellie Gordon. Good luck this coming quarter.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep. And tell everybody back in Seattle we said hello and we look forward to meeting them.
I will.
Yeah, you got some new friends we have to meet now.
Uh-huh.
So with all that said, you get to take us out this week.
Empty nest, full tank. Oh.
See you guys next week.
Bye.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.